Charles J. Hull, born 1820, died 1889, a wealthy real estate developer and one of Chicago's pioneer citizens. Charles Hull is best known today for the use to which his Halsted Street mansion was put. The house, built in 1856, was leased in 1889 to social reformer Jane Addams, who later acquired much of the surrounding neighborhood as well. Hull House was a settlement house providing housing and education to new immigrants for over 40 years. A strange story became associated with Hull House in the 1920s, particularly among Italian immigrants. Supposedly, a young woman was pregnant when her husband swore at a picture of Christ. As punishment, the baby was born with horns, a tail, and cloven hooves. This devil baby was given over to Addams and kept in the attic of Hull House. People came from miles around to see the devil baby, only to be turned away at the door with the news that no such creature existed at Hull House. This story eventually inspired the film Rosemary's Baby.
Alright, Rosehill, Chicago, looking for Oscar Mayer right now. Not sure where he is. We're close. But Crystal's over there looking. While she's doing that, I'm gonna come check out this. Wow. Rosehill, Chicago. Listening to the Bears.
Getting their butt kicked.
Getting their butt kicked like usual. I don't know if they are. I mean, I expect that they are. Here we are in front of Bobby Frank's tomb here, mausoleum. We'll tell you about him.
On May 22, 1924, the body of 14-year-old Robert Franks was found murdered on Chicago's South Side. The murder would launch the infamous Leopold and Loeb trial. A report in the May 22, 1924 edition of the Chicago Daily News detailed the discovery that morning of 14-year-old murder victim Robert Bobby Franks, whose body was found stuffed into a culvert under the Pennsylvania Railroad tracks at 118th Street. The report said at the time officials didn't even realize they had a murder victim. But before Franks was found, his family had received a letter from the kidnappers demanding $10,000 for the boy's safe return. Frank's killers, University of Chicago students Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb, had picked up the teen the previous afternoon while he walked to his Kenwood home, the report said. The pair had decided they would attempt to commit the perfect crime, reportedly just to prove they could get away with it. The police first diagnosed the case as accidental drowning, for the head wounds were not easily seen. Once the 2 stab wounds on the boy's head was identified, Frank's uncle was allowed to view the body. "It's Robert," he cried. The criminal trial that followed, the trial of the century, would go on to captivate the nation, catapult defense attorney Clarence Dow to fame, and inspire the novel Compulsion and movies, including Alfred Hitchcock's 1948 film Rope. Horatio Stone married 17-year-old Frances Minette Pierce on September 21, 1852, in Clifton Springs, New York. Frances became pregnant in late 1852 and in July 1853 gave birth to a daughter who they named Frances Pierce Stone, after her mother. Tragically, Horatio's second wife, Frances, died on March 12, 1854, in Chicago. Frances did not die giving birth to her daughter. Little Frances was 8 months old when her mother died. To compound the tragedy, little Frances died in May of 1854 when she was only 10 months old. Frances the mother and Frances the daughter were buried in Chicago City Cemetery, where Horatio's first wife and children were buried. In his grief, Horatio decided on a more elaborate memorial for his teenage wife and infant daughter. He commissioned a sculpture from noted sculptor Chauncey Bradley Ives from Rome, Italy. The sculpture of a reclining mother and child was completed in Rome in 1856, and then shipped to Chicago, where it was placed over their graves in the Chicago City Cemetery. In the late 1850s, Chicago decided to close the city cemetery and relocate the buried remains to other cemeteries farther away from the downtown area. Horatio Pierce wisely realized that for the remains of his loved ones to be moved correctly, he needed to make the arrangements himself. On October 22, 1861, the Chicago Daily Tribune reported, "After the bodies and the monuments were moved, it was decided to cover the sculpture with a glass enclosure to protect it from Chicago's heat, cold, and wet. If it had not been covered, I doubt that there would be much left to admire today."